What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a new video, guys. So today we're gonna do a quick little video talking about the common problems with the 328s with the N52, N51 engines. Pretty much these are just some common problems that you need to look out for if you are planning on buying one of these, or if you already own one of these and want to know the problems that they have. This is a good video for you guys because I'm gonna be telling you guys everything that I've experienced with these cars. Me and my friends have definitely owned over 20 of these cars, at least over 20 of these specific cars with these engines. These are the common problems that we've run across. So first things first, one of the biggest problems that these have are the oil leaks. They leak oil in a few different places. So they leak oil at the valve cover gasket, the oil filter housing gasket, and also the oil pan gasket. There's actually 4 main spots that they leak. They actually leak at the rear main seal as well. So they leak oil pretty significantly around 100,000 miles, probably a little bit earlier. You definitely want to check out every 100,000 miles, valve cover gasket, oil filter housing gasket, all those gaskets. You definitely want to check them out, replace them if they're leaking. If they're not leaking, you're probably good and don't have to replace them, but it's always good to double check and make sure that you're on top of your maintenance when it comes to the oil leaks, because they are very persistent and they will pop up eventually. Some common ways to know that you have an oil leak is that if you start your car and you're driving your car and you smell oil, it's most likely your valve cover gasket leaking onto like the exhaust manifold, and the oil is smoking up and you get a burning oil smell. That's one way you know if you have an oil leak. Also, if your car is just leaking oil on the ground, that's a very common thing. Actually, this car that I'm in right now, it's leaking oil, and I'm gonna go get it done here soon. The valve cover gasket and all that stuff, because it's leaking, and I'll probably show a video of it, of the oil on the ground, because it's pretty bad. But yeah, guys, you definitely want to check out for those oil leaks. They will haunt you down the road if you don't get them taken care of. It's going to be all greased up and oily everywhere, especially on this car. Actually, the one that I'm in, the oil was literally everywhere and it was causing major problems. So I'll go ahead and throw up a video of kind of like the problems that it had. So definitely check out those oil leaks. You want to get those taken care of ASAP. So the next few things you want to check out are the coolant leaks. So there's a few spots where the coolant is more likely to leak from. So there's one that's connected to the block. There's a coolant hose that's connected to the block, and there's this coolant flange, and it's called the Mickey Mouse flange. That's what everybody calls it. Even I had the problem on this car, which is the main reason I'm actually making this video, is because I'm fixing all these problems on my car, and I figured, oh, it'd probably be a good idea to tell all the problems that these cars have. So for any potential buyers or people who own this car and want to know the problems and can take care of it beforehand, this Mickey Mouse flange, or Mickey Mouse, I can't remember the actual thing they call it, but I call it the Mickey Mouse flange. They're plastic and they become brittle over time because of the heat, of course, from the engine. The coolant heats it up and it makes it very brittle. So I upgraded to an aluminum one for myself, and I suggest upgrading yours to an aluminum one as well. It's very easy to do. You're gonna leak a little bit of coolant, but as long as you put more coolant / distilled water in there, you'll be good. Sometimes another problem that they have are the lifters. There's a lifter tick, especially if the car has been sitting for a while, like a few months, and you start up the car, it's gonna be making like a ticking noise. It's gonna go and it almost sounds like an exhaust leak, but it's most likely the lifters, and there's not really any way to really fix it. Some people put a thicker oil into their car. Sometimes that helps. A lot of the time it will go away if you hold the RPMs at 3K RPM for about a minute or two, and the lifter tick will kind of go away. But that's something to look out for as well. It's not that serious, but it is something to look out for. As well as that coolant hose, that the Mickey Mouse coolant flange hose, there's also the upper radiator hose that goes bad. Quite common. It's the same exact thing. It gets brittle and hot, and it's plastic. Because it's plastic and it gets hot, it becomes brittle over time. So you always want to make sure you're replacing that one or checking on it, making sure it's not leaking, because it is very common. It's that upper radiator hose. You definitely want to check that out. Make sure it's good. Also the belt tensioner, the serpentine belt tensioner, and the pulleys, as well as the power steering pulley, because they're plastic, over time, the same exact thing with the coolant hoses, over time it becomes brittle and they break, and they can eventually rip the serpentine belt, and you don't want the serpentine belt to be ripping. So you definitely want to make sure that's taken care of. But yeah, you want to make sure you replace all those pulleys and tensioners. You want to make sure those are good, because they'll make a schooling noise if they're not replaced. It's a common thing. Also, another common thing is the Vanoss solenoids. Those tend to go bad as well. Most of these problems are pretty easy fixes. It's nothing too crazy. I would say the biggest job there is the valve cover gasket replacement and the oil pan gasket replacement. Those are kind of difficult to do. All these other problems, they're not like major problems. Even though it sounds like there's a lot of problems with these cars, they're actually quite reliable. reliable. They're very basic little problems. And at the end of the day, all these other small little problems are happening on other cars as well. Any car you really get will have problems, right guys? These are the problems that this specific BMW has with the N52 N51 engine. It's not that severe, but yeah, I figured I would make this quick little video for you guys. If you are looking at buying one of these and you don't know much about them, maybe this video helped you. Or if you, like I said, if you do own one and you just want to know about the problems that they have, I hope this video helped you as well. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and message me on Instagram or comment down below. I'll go ahead and throw up my Instagram. If you guys are interested to go follow that, because I post on there every once in a while and it's the best way to get a hold of me. So definitely check me out on Instagram if you have any questions. If you guys enjoyed this video or if it helped you in any way, make sure to go ahead and give it a like down below and make sure to subscribe while you guys are at it. With that being said though guys, remember, stay safe, stay happy, and stay in that project car. I will catch you guys later.